Imagine you're driving back to your base after a long day, exhausted, ready to crash, when suddenly, a blinding pair of headlights locks onto your mirrors. You speed up, trying to get away, but they chase you down, and then pull you over. You think it's bad luck, but months later, you get the perfect chance to turn the tables on the guy who tried to ruin you. And when that moment comes, you don't just get even. You end his Marine career. If you've ever dreamed of seeing karma strike at the perfect moment, hit that like button right now. Subscribe for more jaw-dropping revenge stories, and buckle up, because this one is straight out of the U.S. Marine Corps in the 1980s, and it's glorious. The story begins with my dad back in the 1980s, stationed at a Marine Corps base. It was a quiet, cool night. My dad had just finished his shift as a shooting range coach, exhausted but relieved to be done for the day. The base was mostly asleep. The roads were empty. The only sound was the steady hum of his old green Chevy as he drove through the dark. Then, it happened. From behind him, a pair of bright white headlights suddenly flooded his mirrors, blinding him instantly. At first, my dad thought it was just some impatient driver. But within seconds, he realized something was off. Those lights weren't just bright. They were on me. Every time I slowed, they slowed. When I sped up a little, they stayed locked on my bumper. For 5 straight minutes, he couldn't see his own dashboard, the glare so intense it burned his eyes. His heart started pounding harder with every passing second. So, he gently pressed the gas, adding just 3 miles per hour to create space. But the truck behind him matched his speed. Then he sped up a little more. Again, the same thing. And suddenly, flashing lights. The truck threw on its police bar. It was a military police vehicle. My dad pulled over, confused, frustrated, and slightly terrified. Out stepped a Lance Corporal MP, the lowest-ranked MP, but still armed with authority. This guy had a cocky smirk on his face and a clipboard under his arm. Lance MP, smirking evening, Marine. You know how fast you were going? Dad. Faster than I wanted to. Thanks to your damn lights. Lance MP, watch it. I clocked you speeding. That's an infraction. Now here's the thing about speeding tickets on base. They're no joke. In the Marine Corps, even a single ticket can delay promotions, trigger disciplinary actions, and stick to your record for years. My dad knew that if this went through, it could screw his career. So, he calmly explained what happened, how the truck had been blinding him, and how he'd barely accelerated just to stay safe. But Lance MP. Oh, he wasn't having it. This guy wanted blood. He wanted that ticket written. Dad stood there, fists clenched behind his back, watching this junior MP trying to flex his tiny bit of power. That's when backup arrived, another MP, but this one was a corporal, outranking Lance. The corporal pulled my dad aside and listened carefully. And instantly, he believed him. Corporal MP, all right, you're good. No ticket. You can go. But Lance, he lost it. Lance MP, yelling NO. He was speeding. I had him. We can't just let him go. There they were, 2 MPs, arguing in the middle of the road. A Lance Corporal screaming at his superior, red-faced, veins bulging, absolutely convinced he was right. Finally, the corporal shut him down. Corporal MP, enough. He's free to go. End of discussion. My dad drove off, heart still pounding. But as he pulled away, he caught one last glimpse of Lance MP in his rearview mirror, fuming, jaw clenched, hands on his hips. And my dad knew, this wasn't over. Months passed. My dad went back to his routine as a Marine Corps shooting range coach. For those unfamiliar, Marines are required to qualify on the rifle range every single year. Pass, and you're good. Fail, and you're in serious trouble. You can face disciplinary action, restricted duty, even stalled promotions. My dad's job was to coach Marines through their qualifications and monitor safety. Coaches held immense power. Any unsafe handling of a weapon meant instant disqualification. One morning, as my dad scanned the roster of shooters, he froze. There it was. A familiar name. Lance Corporal MP. The same guy who tried to ruin his career. Dad's lips curled into the faintest smile. This was fate. My dad quietly approached the range coach assigned to Lance MP and whispered, "Dad, switch me spots. I'll explain later. The other coach agreed, and just like that, my dad became Lance MP's shooting coach for the day. At first, Lance didn't recognize him. He was focused on his rifle, adjusting his sling, breathing steady. But when my dad stepped forward and said, "Dad," low voice, "remember me?" Lance froze. His head lowered slowly. And then, barely above a whisper, "Lance MP." "Yeah." My dad leaned in close, his voice cold, sharp, deliberate. "Dad, you've got one shot. One mistake. One tiny slip, and your ass is off my range. Do not test me." The color drained from Lance's face. He nodded silently, hands trembling slightly as he gripped his rifle. For the next few hours, Lance shot perfectly. Every trigger squeeze was clean. His breathing steady. His posture textbook. You could feel the tension hanging in the air. Finally, the shooting was over. Now came the safety checks, the most critical part of the entire qualification. Every shooter had to unload their weapon, open the chamber, and present it to the coach for inspection. When it was Lance's turn, he held out his rifle, chamber open. But before my dad could verify it, clack, Lance snapped the chamber shut and started walking off. My dad's voice thundered across the range. "Dad, stop. Right there." The entire range went silent. My dad stormed over, his boots slamming against the gravel. He looked Lance dead in the eyes. "Dad, that's the safety violation I needed. Get the hell off my range." Lance's face went pale. His lips trembled. And then, he snapped. Lance MP, shouting no. "This is *T. I passed. I passed." "Dad, not anymore, Marine. Pack it up." And just like that, Lance MP was done. He failed his qualification. His entire career trajectory shattered. Here's the thing about failing your weapons qualification in the Marine Corps. It's devastating. Without passing, you can't deploy, can't promote, and often face serious disciplinary action. One careless moment, one lapse in respect, one act of arrogance months earlier, and Lance's entire career came crashing down. Karma didn't just knock on his door. It kicked it down. My dad isn't a spiteful man. He doesn't go looking for payback. But this was justice. He didn't set Lance up. He didn't sabotage him. He just waited. And when Lance gave him the perfect excuse, he took it. Sometimes, you don't have to chase revenge. You just have to be patient and let people destroy themselves. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and tell me in the comments, have you ever seen karma hit someone this hard? And if you want more real-life revenge stories like this one, make sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss what's coming next.